America is a nation built on ideals of liberty, equality, and justice, yet it has always wrestled with the shadow of racial hierarchy. Today, many researchers and civil rights groups argue that the country is witnessing a revival of white supremacist ideology. This isn't a sudden eruption, it's the resurfacing of unresolved tensions woven into the nation's history. From the founding era, racial hierarchy was embedded into law, culture, and economics. Enslavement, segregation, and exclusion shaped who had access to power. Even after major civil rights victories, the underlying narratives, myths of racial superiority, fear of demographic change, and nostalgia for a lost America never fully disappeared. They simply adapted. In the 21st century, several forces converged to bring these ideas back into the mainstream. Sociologists point to rapid demographic shifts. America is becoming more diverse, and some people interpret this change as a threat to their identity or status. When fear mixes with misinformation, resentment becomes fertile ground for extremist ideology. Digital platforms accelerated this shift. Algorithms reward outrage, and extremist groups learned to weaponize that system. They spread conspiracy theories, recruit young people, and rebrand old racist ideas with new language. What once lived in the shadows now circulates openly online. Economic anxiety also plays a role. When people feel left behind by automation, globalization, or political change, some look for someone to blame. Extremist groups exploit that vulnerability, offering simple answers to complex problems. They frame racial minorities, immigrants, and social justice movements as enemies, fueling division. At the same time, political polarization has intensified. Some commentators argue that certain public debates about immigration, voting rights, policing, or national identity have been used by extremist groups to legitimize their worldview. While mainstream political actors may not endorse white supremacy, their rhetoric can be misinterpreted or misused by those who do. The result is a climate where extremist ideas find new life. They appear in online communities, public demonstrations, and even acts of violence. Civil rights organizations warn that this revival is not just a fringe problem, it's a national challenge that demands awareness, education, and collective responsibility. To understand how we arrived here, we must look not only at the forces that revived white supremacy, but also at the systems that allow it to persist. If Part 1 explored the forces fueling the revival of white supremacist ideology,